would like to start with a thank you to all of you for being here and being a part of this women's session. As we all know, logistics is the invisible engine that powers the economies, and it moves goods, connects businesses, sustains communities, and keeps nation running. But yet, for decades, it's largely owned by a male domain industry, right? Especially in the areas like fleet operations, transport management, automotive technologies, and risk leadership. But I think the narrative is now changing with all of you here who've joined us as exceptional group of women leaders who are not only leading organizations but redefining how we think about safety, risk, technology, and driver welfare as well. Not only for operational excellence but also for long-term sustainability. So thank you so much for being a part of this group. And I would like to start with one question which I would like to open for all of you. If you could change one thing about how the industry thinks about safety, what would it be?
So I think well-being of a driver is non-negotiable. Welfare, getting recognition, I think that's what the industry needs right now. So that is the most important. His safety, if he's recognized, and his well-being and his welfare is taken into consideration, that's a non-negotiable thing for me.
That's a great point.
Yeah. Adding on to her point, I think the industry is moving because of drivers. So earlier, we did not consider their safety as much, but now that is changing. So I think that's a good thing that's happening.
I think for me, the thing would be, I feel like the industry is still treating safety as a separate, like, silo department.
Absolutely, yes.
I think that's a big thing is, I feel like safety is still, put in a circle or in a box. You have a safety department, some sort of checklist, you have audit circles. But ultimately what happens is, all the decisions are made and then we tell the safety team, you go ahead and you act on this. So I feel like safety is always in the background. I feel like if we should really think of safety not just as a disciplinary thing, but as really more of an architecture choice, like how can we design our systems in a way where safe behavior is the easiest behavior. And I think that would really encourage people to approach safety more holistically than just putting it as a cost center or a compliance center.
I'll actually add something. We always have this thing that women are not safe.
Correct.
But I think in today's world, I don't think even men are safe.
Correct. Nobody is safe.
When we also talk of POSH, it's not only related to women, it's also men.
Yeah.
So safety is also, of course I started with my drivers, but I think even the staff, the people, which is the whole decorum of your family. When you're working, it becomes a family. Even they need to feel safe. So I just wanted to add, what she said is completely correct.
I would like to shift the mindset from safety as a cost to safety as a strategic investment. Safety is not only a compliance checklist, it is not an expenses, it is a strategic investment.
I'd like to look at it from the access to technology that we have today. So if we can just layer that on all the concerns that we have, may it be with regards to all the stakeholders, I think we could layer that into technology and build that. And the feedback that we would get, say from an OEM to the regulators, to the other stakeholders, I think the conversation is needed.
That's really good points that you all have shared. I want to come back to Nikita, to your point where you said that, safety is kind of put in the back burner, like, it's not the forefront. So as a CEO of the company, how do you ensure that, safety isn't just a head office priority, but it is something that reaches the last mile drivers as well?
That's a great question, and I feel that safety is not really going to reach drivers through just rules and regulations, because for head offices, safety is just a KPI, it's a checklist, it's a compliance score. But for drivers, they will only grasp it when they understand that safety to them is about their life. And I think unless we bridge that emotional gap somewhere, anything we design on paper, any safety processes or SOPs will not matter. So I think it's very important that, for instance, at ANVA, what we do is we never really teach safety as a theory. We show them in practice. So we use AI dashcam footage of actual accidents and show it to drivers, including fatal ones, during training. And what really happens is, the room kind of goes quiet, because in that moment, drivers are not thinking, oh, they're trying to control me or they're trying to monitor me. They're thinking, oh, this could happen to me as well. I could be driving the same truck, make the same mistake. And then also what we do is we show them conversations with families of drivers who've lost their lives. So what happens here is when you hear a child, talk about how they were waiting for their father and he never came home, it really breaks maybe any illusion you have that safety is just a compliance score, and it makes it much more real and grounded. So I think it's very important that we give a strong emotional message and then back that with structural support, because we have to ensure that what we are saying and telling drivers is matching with what we are rewarding, because that's the easiest way to destroy a safety culture is you reward speedy deliveries and then you kind of tell drivers that no, you have to be safe. So I think that's very important, and then just give them respect. I think as Reema was saying, that is so critical, because if they feel valued, they will not feel like safety is something that's pushed on them. They'll understand it's about their personal ownership. So I think that's when you've been successful, is when a driver is making the safer choices even when no one is watching. So I feel hopefully that is the path to kind of get there.
To add on to her, they actually also need to get educated. So like she's mentioning, like for example, like she said 10 minutes delivery, right? When you're saying 10 minutes delivery, if they have to deliver because it's a company policy, because it's of course the world is shifting in that that whole structure, then you have to ensure that they wear helmets, right? Then it is safer, So yeah, I just wanted to add that.
And also one thing that she mentioned about building an emotional connection with the drivers, I think this is what women bring to the table, not just operating from a traditional models, but adding the emotional touch to the industry.
Yeah, because I think fundamentally, like, drivers know what is safe and unsafe behavior. It is just about how do you enforce it.
They make because they don't want to they don't want to wear a helmet, but how important it is for them to wear the helmet or wear a seat belt for truckers, right? It's important. Of course, luckily now they're fined, so automatically they land up wearing. And also now vehicles come with the beep sound that they have to wear a seat belt.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So, Vandana, another question for you. How do you handle it when your drivers or when your team members, they repeatedly ignore safety as a protocol, right? I mean, how do you handle that as?
First, I will try to understand why they are doing so. Is it a lack of training or a pressure, or is it their attitude only? When I come to know about the reason, then I try to solve that. If we counsel them, we give them training sessions about the safety. I myself meet them one by one, and try to make them understand that, look, safety is more important for you. Your family is waiting behind. Back home, they are waiting for you. I try to make them understand about the importance of the safety. That is what we can do for them.
What does a safety first culture actually looks like on ground in your organization? Running a transport firm means direct interaction with the drivers and the ground team. So how does it look like for you?
So I think for us, it was always people. Processes, of course, who makes processes? People make processes, right? Who's driving a truck? People. So people are first. Getting and connect, giving them respect and empathy is extremely important. I would not say sympathy, because sympathy, why would you sympathize? We all are doing our work.
Yeah.
So it's not sympathy, whether I'm doing my work or my driver's doing. You have to be empathetic to them, right? So process driven, yes, but on ground, it's give them training, make them understand what important. Like she said that you show footage, you tell them. So because we are into cold chain pharma and we carry life-saving drugs, Gitika, when I joined, the first thing that was a practice where my whole operations team would talk to the driver, and that was something which we initiated as a management, saying whatever you're carrying, आप please सोचो आप आपकी family को भी मिलेगा, because that's the first connect you can give them, and बाद में you're going to give it to the whole world, rather the whole of nation and the world, because it can get imported, exported, whatever, right? So that was something which we kept inculcating in them, and now they take onus. So that when that is, and by the way, I'm going to address, like I mentioned in my earlier forum, I would address not drivers, but I would address them as sarthis, because they are sarthis. They are no if you call them as drivers, don't look down on them. Look, it's a position. It's a very big thing. They're bread earners of our.
There's nothing without
like,
them.
COVID taught. We all were sitting at home. We got food because of them, right? We got medicines because of them. We got vaccinated. We carried actually, COVID vaccinations, and everyone was sitting at home. So they were the ones who were, not even, like, people didn't even bother whether they have COVID, what are they dealing with. Facilities were not made. Of course, the economy took some time to make those facilities. So on ground, if you're more empathetic and you're more, loving towards it, like something which I kind of do with my team, be it my team or driver, sometimes I'll just say, hey, you have to know where to pull them. At the same time, you have to be easygoing. Of course, you can't all the time be easygoing, but at the same time, you have to also tell them where their flaws are, which we never land up saying that in anywhere, but it's important because if you don't tell them, they will not improve. And so also there's a lot of data which comes out now, which OEMs give out. So that is something which is important to communicate, have an open, like I have an open door. Anyone, be it Sarthis to my members who work with me, they come and they can speak to me anytime. And we also sit sometimes, chit chat. So there's something which we do different is, which I think your question will come to me at some point. There is a scheme which one of the OEMs have come up. It's called Chalak Se Malak. So our old trucks which we are selling, we actually sell it to our drivers, senior drivers. And we give them a vehicle which is on a loan, which is interest free, and he pays. So he becomes an owner. So the retention level goes higher.
So I think that probably that's another. I'll just come back to the first question that I asked. What is a shift that you think in the industry is needed? I think probably that is one shift. Like not treating them as a driver, but as a champion, as a Sarthi, or as part of your company, which helps you grow as well. So I think that's probably another important change that probably the industry needs to see
so
as well.
On ground is what you asked.
Yeah.
This is what you need to do as, of course, we are not none of us are born champions. I think we've also evolved and learned. Of course, we didn't, like the first day, we didn't know how to be on, we were on that side. So we were treated in a certain manner, and then we went in that shoe, and then that's what leadership does. So that's how we evolved, yeah.
You also touched upon, how data plays an important role. So I want to come back to you, Nikita, since you are the CEO of the, of your company. I want to know, how does data play in making safety decisions today for you as a CEO?
So I think what has been interesting is now we were earlier focused on using data to kind of react to incidents that are happening. But now we've kind of pivoted to now using data to understand what are the pressures inside our system. So like, just to give you a recent instance, what happened was that we, started monitoring drivers more closely, and we noticed that there were a lot of incidents of harsh braking, sudden acceleration, and on specific route lanes particularly. So of course, our first instinct, unfortunately is, you blame the drivers, you penalize them, you tighten compliance, because why are only these specific drivers, doing this? But, when we went into the data deeper, we spoke to drivers, the story was completely different. Because what was happening was that the drivers were actually rushing, not because they were trying to be reckless or they were enjoying it, but because they were afraid that they would miss the no entry cutoff in certain towns. So, at Anwa, we do a lot of secondary dispatch. So many of our distributors are actually located in no entry zones. And if the drivers miss that time, then they have to wait for, hours, sometimes days to gain access, and then customers escalated, there are delays, and there's a lot of issues. So it really helped us understand, that from the driver's perspective, this is like the way they're surviving in the system. And so we realized, this unsafe behavior, we can't really categorize it as a driver problem, because that's what we tend to do, but it is actually a systems problem. So we just went to the root cause. We prioritized, the dispatch we were doing for no entry trucks. We started giving them buffer. We even had conversations with customers that, these are unrealistic timelines. This is the constraints. And some customers were open when we explained the logic. And then, we even reworked our internal scheduling. So this kind of eased the pressure and, drivers started driving more safely. So I think it's very important that, we kind of use data, and I think we're very fortunate that we have the technology available today. So how do we use data not just as a policing tool to kind of watch drivers and be like, okay, what are they doing wrong?
Absolutely,
And who's
yes.
making the mistake? And then, people do a lot of dashboards
Even
of
dash
drivers.
cam is helpful in
actually
understanding whose
she's right,
mistake
because
is actually.
sharing the data not only to stakeholders but also clients,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
making
Also
them
with the
understand
drivers
what
as
is
well.
our
Yeah.
side of story,
Yeah.
and why is there a delay, or why
Absolutely.
is it important that at this time we need to do the delivery and the unloading and loading
Correct.
needs to happen,
Yeah.
because they don't know what as
What is the ground
transporters we
reality.
are dealing.
Facing,
Absolutely.
correct.
On
Correct.
facade of it, they will say, okay, we need the material, but
Yeah.
what are the kind of penalties we go through? What is it our drivers have to face? I think that's very important, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's important that you kind of use the data to also understand and listen, like what in your system or what in your operations is making this mistake happen. So it's not necessarily the case that drivers are just, doing something wrong intentionally, or your planners are doing something wrong intentionally. And I think to Rima's point, like clients these days are getting more and more open. I wouldn't say that every client is open, but they have a lot of safety mandates themselves. They have, zero fatalities goals themselves. So they are getting more open to conversations around this. So I think we as, leaders need to leverage that.
Correct.
That's a very great point, because I think when you're looking at data, it is not only, like you mentioned, it is not only for yourself to understand, it is for your drivers, it is for your teams, it is for your client customers as well, to know, how things pan out as well. So very interesting point there. Another question I have, Icha, for you,
Yes.
I mean, moving in the direction, since you are also an entrepreneur leading a pan-India logistics company, what gives you the confidence that fleet safety in India is moving in the right direction? How do you think
So
about that?
what gives me confidence is that earlier we used to discuss about safety after accidents were happening, but now, like, we're having this conversation, we're discussing safety as a preventive measure. We are moving there's a mindset shift that is happening from managing damage to managing risks. We're talking of ADAS, dash cams, there's harsh braking, overspeeding, a lot of tools that are managing these things. So I think not just for fleet operations but also for drivers, all these things are really beneficial, and it is moving the industry into the right direction.
That's great. I see Aarti's been very quiet. I'm going to shift the dynamics to Aarti now, so that we'll put some
Just
focus
listening
on you.
intently to what's being shared, and I think very insightful points,
Absolutely. So I'm going to come back to, since she brought the entire AI and telematic question, the side of it as well. So, being the MD of an auto company, how do you think the AI and telematics can monitor driver behavior in real time, and how do you ensure it feels like a support and not surveillance for your drivers?
I think it's an important question, and what we handle is B2B, B2G mostly, and that's where our target audience sits out of, that's our market. And if it's a government-based regulation that comes in, it's mandatory, we follow it. But I think in one of the panels earlier, there was a discussion around, a thought where when it is B2B, it is basis the pain point that they experience or the challenges that they face, and that's where the customization comes in. So what I believe in is that we have a platform like AI, but we need to build a ecosystem of safety with all the pain points coming through, and are we addressing them? So I would say that the more feedback we get, we can build on that, and the time taken to it. So now, in case we want to, incorporate this into the vehicle, then we will need to have the right kind of software, the right kind of cameras, so hardware and software, meeting that and placing it, is a challenge for us within the time that we cater to the requests that have come in.
Also, upskilling the people who are going to be handling the data is also important. So it has to be done in a phased manner, like she said. It will not be, okay, just putting the software, putting the hardware. It will also be someone will have to train the people to understand what the data is. Because there's a lot of data, like the dressing, there's a lot of data which is available, but what is apt to whom will completely differ.
So we have something like onboard, data analytics. Now, how much do you access? How many parameters? Where do you intersect it? And what do you read from it? So, it does need a whole lot of, and day-to-day business when you are tackling, to have time to study this data is going to be quite a challenge.
There's a perception that women leader tends to be more cautious or detail oriented. Do you see that as an advantage or in managing fleet safety?
Yeah, of course it's an advantage. We women are better managers. We take every detail, every small and big. हम किसी चीज को ऐसे let go नहीं करते हैं, and that is very beneficial for the business. What I have experienced since last 19 years, हमारी जो softness है वो हमारी strength है. Dealing with the drivers, my manager is dealing and I myself is dealing. The both ways are different. So in every aspect of business, our softness works very good for the business, and it's a added advantage for the company.
It's a personal touch.
Yeah, personal touch also.
Means it's a personal thing when
The connection.
owner talks to the Sarthi, it is completely different to what a manager would be talking to a Sarthi.
So now that you
I
brought
always remember one thing which Rima has shared earlier in our other panel discussion, कि हमारे आने से तमीज आई है in our business.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And now that you said that you add the personal touch, so I want to ask another question to you, that as how do you handle, I won't say the drivers, your Sarthis, how do you handle the conversations with your Sarthis around welfare and security? I mean, how, like you said, the way you would talk or the way a manager would talk, there is going to be a huge difference. So I want to understand from your perspective, how would you handle that conversation?
So a manager would basically go head on IWD, because that's the way it is, because that's how they've been handling it. But when you talk, like for example, when we joined, I also have another partner. When the second generation joined in, and of course our fathers used to operate differently and we operate differently. Of course, not our fathers also didn't yell at the drivers. Like I think someone addressed, Vandana ji addressed, saying that you have to understand them. So you can't just blame them.
Correct.
Okay. Right. So first you have to understand where the core problem is, and then you analyze, and you have to know how to pick sides and how you have to manage it. Because Sarthis can also be wrong. We can also be wrong. Not everyone is correct at every situation. So understanding who's right. So you address it in that manner what the situation is. And at the same time, you can't lose your Sarthis because they worked with you. Yes. So in my company, I already have 60 to 70% of retention of my drivers, right? So it is because of the way and the culture we've inculcated, right? And so you celebrate them. We celebrate 17th September is Drivers' Day. We celebrate a week because not all drivers will be there at the same time.
Correct.
Yes. So we celebrate, and a lot of our vendors and OEMs come together, and they will, give them some will do monetary benefits, some will do health checkups. We will give them some benefits. So I think that really encourages, they really get empowered, and they say, okay, and also the whole concept of Chalak se Malak thing, they start becoming owners. So when you have that system in place, they become a part of you and they start taking onus too. So I think that is what they need to know. They need to know that take onus. Don't think ये company है, हम ये company के लिए काम कर रहे हैं. If you have that mindset, तो वो employee रहेगा.
You need to be a part of the company.
Another thing which we do, they are all on salary. Okay, they are not on contract. So they have gratuity, PF, all facilities what an employee would get.
You've kind of answered my next question to you, you know, that how do you do manage driver retention? What is it that you do differently?
Yeah, so that is something which I think when you give them that onus and they understand they are part of your system and they're part of it's a big ecosystem. And another thing I have realized, because now I'm a part of an association and we speak a lot on drivers' welfare, and we don't not only speak, we also try acting how much ever we can for. But when you address a macro level, automatically micro gets addressed, right? So there are two ways. When you join a system, you work from micro to macro, and when you are in the system, you work from macro to micro.
Yeah.
It's a correlated thing. So now when I address it at a macro level, saying the welfare of a driver is very important, automatically I know my Sarthis are going to be addressed. And when I joined, I used to understand them, but how much to understand them and how we have to manage them got me to the macro level.
Got it. Understood.
I think just adding to Reema's point, I think the biggest thing is I think they just want to be heard. A lot of times I think no one is listening to them, and I think one thing we started doing is that as an owner also sometimes you don't necessarily have the time or as any leader to talk to each and every driver. So what we did is, first of all, at least upgrade them to employees. Right now, you know, many people treat them as laborers. So we have an HR who will call drivers every single day. She'll call 20 to 40 drivers at random and just check in with them and say, you know, no shouting, no complaining, like, how are you doing? Like, is anyone not treating you right? Is there any issues? And they have a safe forum to kind of talk about it. And at the same time, there's a woman's touch again.
Yeah.
So they feel like this is a better
And
way
even
to reach
asking
all
a
the
small
drivers.
question कि आपने खाना खाया कि नहीं also makes a lot of difference. On the outside it seems कि बहुत
And we
छोटी
can
चीज़
expect
है.
this only from the women.
Women's side.
Inclusion of women drivers, because there's a lack of drivers now. Would you sense that we need to empower them to contribute to this, because we are seeing many women come into.
Thank you, Aarti, for bringing up that point. I mean, that was my question going to be for you. That do you think bringing more women into the entire fleet leadership, not only in leadership but as fleet drivers as well, do you think that could change the approach towards safety and risk as well?
See, as an OEM partner, stakeholder, I would say that we would need to consider this basis the feedback, because it's the market that drives how we design the vehicle. So if there are women who are going to drive the vehicle, we'll have to consider the dimensions of how they seat, what's the comfort requirement, and certain aspects of design are going to change around it. Socially, yes, maybe I think was shared earlier, the challenges of safety are equal for men and women these days. Having said that, for women, maybe there would be few other concerns that we need to build into it to make it a more comfortable ecosystem to work. So I think overall, I would say that it would be the feedback that we get basis the requirement from the industry and how we build that into it.
Wanted to add something to this.
See, at the office level, management level, getting more and more women on board is better for the company. We are having, I myself is promoting female staff in my company, because I have experienced that we are getting better results as compared to men. I am sorry to say, but I know many males are listening this.
But it's a
as
male-dominated industry. But then I think this shift is very much needed.
Yeah, this is very much needed. And as far as drivers are concerned, at the local level, more females are participating. Now they are coming as a driver, three-wheeler drivers, local bus drivers. But as far as trucks are, commercial vehicles are concerned, the basic infrastructure on road is not so good for the males. So how can we think for the females? The safety of the female, the basic necessities that are not up to the mark. जब तक वो up to the mark नहीं होगी, we cannot promote in our company for a female driver to come and on board as a long haul driver. Local,
I'll add
it's
here.
okay.
I'll add here.
Intercity it's still.
So, there are a couple of female drivers Sarthis, and we've also interviewed few. I have actually interviewed few of them with my colleagues, and you will be amazed to hear them. Like one of them likes to drive in the night, and I was like, safety. She's like, there are 100 people who are happy to help. But yes, you will see a lot of women, women who are driving cabs, okay, for safety, because a female would be more comfortable if she's traveling in the night to go with a female. So yes, in trucking, if you give them, educate them. Also, like she said, for safety, you'll have to change certain parameters. Maybe, the seat has to be a little more in front and the belt has to be, there are a lot of things which will need to change. Of course, in your smaller trucks, like a pickup truck, it'll be fine because height and everything will be taken care of. And giving them local movements. So if you educate them, like there are so many women who actually don't even, if you educate them, they can get into this space.
Yeah.
And I think they'll be more safer when it comes to driving, because like all of us have been addressing that, we've been saying that women can do it. We just underestimate ourselves. हम नहीं कर सकते हैं.
I mean, I had a conversation with a woman who was a cab driver, and I said, how do you? And it was for me, it was a red eye, and she was at the airport. And when I asked her, how do you manage this and what's your day, how does it look like? She said, they gave us training, which she really valued. They have a network online. So she's connected and she's continuously chatting with someone who's giving her some feedback on the route. And then she's giving them this, real-time location and then having a conversation. So she's active and awake. The other thing is flexibility. She says, ek din I'm taking 3 rides, one day 1. My commitment is how I choose my day.
Yes.
So good.
It's
So for a
convenient.
woman,
It's convenient
Yeah,
because
because we
that
have
is a very, that's
so
a
many
priority
other
as well.
responsibilities
financial
also
family
apart
commitments,
from career.
So I'll tell you what, we always, as fleet owners, we are always worried that there's driver shortage, right? This is an idea and I think I should get a patent for this. So if you convert your local deliveries to women who actually go back home at a decent hour, and you shift those local male Sarthis to, doing longer routes, your driver shortage problem is sorted.
Right.
And
But
Rima,
of
we
course,
must
it's
do
very difficult to source. But that takes care of your sanitization, which because they are local trips, it's easily
manageable,
available. It's manageable.
Yeah, manageable.
So a lot of things can be taken care. But it's just about opening doors and educating women to saying that you become Sarthis and you will not be called drivers, you will be called as Sarthis and you will be applauded. And you'll be surprised at so many OEMs who, we all are, actually I think all of us are fishing for women drivers.
Yeah.
Okay, because there is a part of some business I do locally. I'm sure she does locally, she does, you do. So yours is of course more local, because so all of us will be happy to be in that space and our problems for long routes will get solved.
And I would just like to add one more point about women, right? If you look at 1.4 billion population, we have 48% women. And if you have like a huge 3 trillion that we have reached right now, and you're looking at 30 trillion, how are you going to achieve that if you don't equip 48% of our population to scale up, in every aspect? So I think there won't be a trade-off between men and women. You'll just have to bring on more women in the room, you know. So every time you see 5 men and 1 woman there, it should actually be a woman sitting alongside or wherever.
And like, Vandana said, even in my office, when I joined, we already had women, but they were all back end. They were more into billing and accounts. What we did is, people who are ready to shift a role, we gave them an opportunity. So we actually have a lady sitting in operations. And see, there are systems in place now. All of us are in a position where there are systems in place, there are heads in place. So they don't really have to, if there's an accident or there's a mishap, they don't have to really go there. They just have to manage on the call. And we do that as women. So why can't they? So you have to be that flexible and you have to think out of the box and give them the freedom.
So is it safe to say that this is the change that we want to see in the
Yes,
future?
yes,
that is
Yes,
relevant?
and I think it's our our responsibility
We need to
as
bring in
a
that change.
fleet owner, as a women leader, that we should promote other females in the industry.
And also, I tell you what, women, they work as a team.
Yeah.
They are not
Collaborators.
about, they collaborate, they're happy to talk, they're happy to share. There's no competition. People work, and when a team achievement is always better than a solo achievement. Is
Right.
what I have been always built in a system where always it was about team.
And I think just adding to that point, like what I noticed for us is generally women, they elevate the atmosphere of the entire office, because when I first joined, there was so much abusing and shouting and screaming. And then when you have a woman or two
The
or
little
three,
manners that come
the manners.
Like she said, I always said तमीज़ आ
तमीज़
जाती
आती
है.
है.
Like you will not hear abusing, a
It
foul
has
language in a
changed.
accounts team or a billing team. You'll hear it maybe in operations because they're shouting and they think, oh, delivery nahi hua, tu kidhar, like whatever. That conversation will go on. But the moment you see a woman sitting there, you will not have that decorum.
And I think the biggest myth is that women cannot talk to drivers, because what I've noticed is that drivers are more respectful, they're kinder, they're softer when they talk to women.
Yeah.
And they even
So-
listen to women.
And
And
women
I
are
think
listening
it's
to
also
them.
going back to what we were discussing earlier, right? It's also the approach that women bring in.
Exactly.
Like, the way we talk as well is that probably that's how the
Very
drivers
absolutely.
react or respond to
It's
us
definitely
as
more
well.
empathetic.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe not
I'll give you an
sympathetic, but
example. One
definitely
of my
empathetic.
Sarthi had won an award, in one of the, and I decided we will recognize him in front of the whole office. And we click pictures, and that guy had a tear in his eye, and he looked at me. You know what he told me? He was not, हमारा company का नाम अच्छा हुआ. He didn't say मेरा नाम अच्छा हुआ. So that is the kind of commitment.
Yeah.
When he feels he belongs to you, he will automatically give you that.
Yeah.
Adding to, I think, missed that part, but women in leadership positions, right? I feel that you act as a beacon for those women who want to enter the industry.
Yeah.
And sometimes you feel like, no one's really noticing the work that you're doing, or but there are women who are looking.
Correct.
at-
They're looking up to you. They're
you.
silent spectators.
Yeah,
They're looking at
and
you.
they want to enter the
Correct.
industry. They realize
Yes.
that it has. If it's working for her, then maybe I can make
You
my
become a
first
role
step.
model
Actually,
for them.
Yeah.
I would like
So-
to mention that that was my thought before entering. I have seen her into the industry since a while, so I was a little confused. But when I saw her and many other women leaders into the industry, that gives you confidence. And I think even Nikita,
Yeah, I
you
mean,
would have.
for me, like I always tell Reema, and my dad thanks her more than me. He's like, she's the reason that you've entered this
And we're
space.
so glad that we have you here. You are the role model
I
for a
don't
lot
think
of
it's not
women.
about, to be honest, it's not about role model. I don't come from this background, honestly, and no one pushed me to it. I did it willingly. I think they had it in them. It's just about the talk. They have their own personality. I have my own personality. We all have something which is different from each other, right? But it's just that someone needs to give you that push.
Correct.
And I always had a mentor. So for me, it was very easy because maybe it may not be from the same field, but I would still go and discuss it.
Yeah. It's exactly what Aarti also said, right? That sometimes you don't realize, but then there are people looking out.
We
to
need
us,
somebody
looking
to
up
relate
you.
with.
Correct.
Yeah.
They relate to you. They think that if you
I
can
can
do
be in
it,
that position
I
too.
can do that too as well. So and I
Yeah.
think sometimes that's very important as well.
So I think they just love me too.
That's so nice.
and I would rightly so.
One last question is in one sentence, and it's open for everyone, okay? In one sentence, what message would you like to leave for other women leaders in the logistics industry on this Women's Day?
So honestly, if you're up for challenges, this is the industry to be in. This is the industry which is never going to go out of hand. It's only going to grow. And never fear failures. If you fail, you will learn. You have to fail. If you don't fail, how will you learn? And always be happy to share and give back to the society. What happens is we all restrict ourselves by saying, oh, I have learned it. Don't compete. If you have to compete with yourself, how you can do better. And if you have, so this is where you will learn competing with yourself and not with others, because you have to do your own work. Second, you have to when you fall, you will learn. So don't fear failures and don't get into that zone, oh my God. Don't sympathize. Hello, this is not the time where you just get up and you realize, okay, this failed, I can do this. There'll be 10 other opportunities waiting for you. And this is the industry to be in. Like, we can handle anything. Women can do anything. So please come and join this industry.
Great. Ichha.
So adding on to her point, I think if you want to break barriers and do something that is not very traditional, I think this is your time. Now you are seeing a couple of women into the industry, and we are looking for more and more women to come into the industry and actually transform how the industry is considered these days. So yes, please join in.
Nikita.
So I think my advice and something that really helped me was, learn the ground reality, because credibility in this industry, it will not just be earned by sitting in meetings or sitting in conference rooms. Like, really, do the field work, be on the ground, sit with drivers, learn from planners. And I think that's where you really earn a lot of respect. Like, one of the things I have noticed when I'm talking to some women who want to enter the space is, we worry a lot about intellectually appearing very smart and knowing the profitability and the balance sheet and finances. But I feel like in logistics, what I have realized is that operational literacy is a lot more important. So, if you can understand like the root cause of the problems, you understand the roots, you understand the issues that are there in the system, you understand the ins and outs of the process, your decisions will really carry a lot of weight, and then also you will have a lot of confidence inside. So I think like that's what I had the opportunity to do when I started. And I think, as Rima and Ichha have already said, this is an amazing industry to be in. I think it gets a bad rep. It has its challenges,
But a lot of learning.
Yeah, it has its challenges.
Actually,
but
also another thing which we all as women also need. If you don't know something, it's fine not to know.
Yes.
You're not born.
It's always a
It's
learning
not
process.
something which you've learned. So it's fine. It's okay to, even if I look dumb, it's okay if I'm looking dumb. It's fine. It's good. It's learning.
like
I
it.
think
People
I can relate to this
appreciate when
point.
you ask. Like, I realize that when you go and ask questions, people are like very happy to share their work with you. That someone is interested in knowing what I do. So I feel like
I think I am 20, so I have a lot of questions, and I bug her with so many questions, and I think that is the only way that you learn. You are not a know-it-all person. It is all a learning process, and eventually you will figure out things.
Vanna ji.
My message is, don't wait. Someone will ask you and command. Step out and do whatever you want confidently. Nobody is learn it already. No special degree is required here. Only the learning attitude is required. So you can earn the respect by your own doings.
I would say that it's a fast evolving industry. There are many aspects to it. So if it interests you, if you're intrigued by what you see, then step in there, go hunt for the right role, begin, and then as you move into the ecosystem, you can develop more on your skill sets and grow in the business. So begin somewhere and take those bold steps.
And I would like to thank, I think, each one of you for sitting here and breaking barriers.
That's
Pulling in more and more women into the industry, and that is, I think, very important.
Taken my line away. I wanted to thank everyone for being here and talking about how important it is to break barriers, to bring more women in the industry, which has been dominated with male, which has been male dominated for years altogether. So thank you so much for being part of this conversation.
Happy International Women's Day!